All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you tune in. It is concerned Citizen of South Sudan Live, February 21st, 2025. As you can see below the screen, our topic of today, Nasir crisis, is a local and regional political dilemma. What does that mean? We will go in details soon and explain to you exactly what is it. الحاصلة في الناصر دي في مدينة ناصر في ولاية عالي النيل. I welcome all of you, our viewers on Facebook, on Clubhouse, on YouTube simultaneously. And please, I don't want you to forget, I want you to subscribe, our channel on the YouTube, John Cormayol. Go ahead and subscribe it so you can get all the new videos that actually we are posting or new episode that we are, posted every time. So, with that, as I said, Nasser crisis is a local and regional a political dilemma. Also, we'll be talking about the lately, the appointment that actually President Kiir has been taking, started from the vice president on the economic cluster, and also the director of national security and other ministerial posts. I will be talking why President Kiir is moving toward that direction. What does he want to achieve? And also, I want to bring your attention to Maini initiative in Nairobi has failed. And we have said this many times that actually was not meant, but it was just simply a financial project for those who initiated it because they want to be able, to be funded. Imagine it took 11 months, 11 months, the delegation from oppositions, they have been in Nairobi, and also took two delegations from the government. The first delegation that was fired by President Kiir because uh, they were not inclined on his political deception that actually he wanted to use uh, just to bring in these positions and then use his own tactic like what he has used, for Dr. Riek Machar with the SPLM-IO. So we'll be just talk a little bit about that, but we'll be focusing on a crisis in Nasser. What exactly happening in eastern state of Upper Nile, eastern state of Upper Nile, which is Nasser County. Many of you have heard إنه في مشاكل كثيرة جدا جدا. The government is saying that they kind of doing a routine rotation of the army. They are talking, quote unquote, that actually the army have not been rotated for a very long time in Nasser County. So therefore, they wanted to just deploy, the new army there, and they want to get those who have been there for a very long time out of Nasser County. Is it really true what they wanted to do, or they just wanted to go and fight? And what are the regional aspect of that? Is it something to do with Ethiopia, something to do with Sudan, or something to do with the appointment that President Kiir is doing to divert attention of the people of South Sudan for them, the real crisis power is struggling within the J1. First of all, if many of you have recalled, Ethiopia, and I made an episode about this. Ethiopia, the neighboring country of Ethiopia, actually, they are in a process, or they have already started constructing refineries. And I made a show actually, and I talk about it. How come Ethiopia will be constructing a refinery to refine oil, and they are not a producing oil country? كيف انك تبني مصفاة لتكرير البترول وانت ليس دوله منتجه للبترول؟ انا تكلمت الكلام ده هنا في ابيسود في concern citizen of South Sudan. وانا قلت because we fail miserably, our leaders have failed, so the neighboring countries, they are eyeing on South Sudan resources because they know they just playing a game, to exploit the resources of South Sudan. So Ethiopia actually built refinery. Ethiopia also constructed the Renaissance Dam, which is a huge Renaissance Dam. jablo mushkila between them and Sudan and Egypt as well, which is it's a good thing for the region. Actually, we supported that. We are likely to get electricity from Ethiopia. It's, through up a region of Upper Nile, because they are going to to import the electricity to Upper Nile, and that's actually can help for developmental project in the area. But the most important thing Ethiopia wanted to do at this time, as I said, Ethiopia constructing refinery. And Ethiopia also see there is a competition in South Sudan, because South Sudan resources, South Sudanese are not benefiting from their resources, because we have a dictatorial regime that actually depend on the foreign, neighboring countries like Uganda and in Kenya, and abandon, our resources, issues of diversification of of economy, which is we supposed to be farming and and doing more and using our resources for the benefit of our citizens. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So Uganda has more hand in South Sudan. Even their troops are in South Sudan. They are getting more money to protect the regime. And Kenya is the same thing, renting, Port of Lamo for South Sudanese to bring the good to South Sudan. So every country is competing, to exploit the resources of South Sudan. Now Ethiopia knows that, the government that we have right now, they are not for development. They are not doing anything about development of South Sudan. So they want to take that advantage. They want to take that opportunity. And they actually proposed before Ethiopia, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, South Sudan. Do you remember the train from Mombasa, the train from Mazan, Nairobi, all the way, to Juba, and also the train from Mombasa all the way, coming Djibouti, and from there to Addis Ababa? These countries actually they were able to pay their fair share, and that during Uhuru Kenyatta actually, and they were able to do it. Uhuru Kenyatta, they were able to construct that road, to construct the real road, from Mombasa, Nairobi, all the way, in Kenya. Ethiopia has done their fair share also. But South Sudan did not, because actually President Kiir is not interested, of any developmental project. And I talked about this before. So now these countries, they are moving, with a fast pace. They are moving with a fast pace. And Ethiopia constructing this, and Ethiopia, it went ahead, wanted to build a highway. They want to build a highway to South Sudan. By constructing a highway to South Sudan, which is coming from Gambela, Jiko, Ethiopia, Jiko, South Sudan, and then from there to Nasir, from Nasir to Malakal, and also to Rang and all this area to where the oil is. And then this is going to help a lot. It will help Ethiopia economically, and also it will help South Sudan, because we will be able to export, the crude oil to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia now is building a refinery. They will be able to refine that huge crude oil coming from South Sudan. So they don't have to go and buy, a ready gasoline from Kuwait or from Emirat, from China, or from Egypt. They are not going to do that, because it's ready here next door. And these people actually are not taking care of their own. So we can, take an opportunity and use it. So they are constructing it. And they talked to the government of South Sudan that actually will be constructing a highway. We will pay for it. They would pay for it. South Sudan agreed, and they signed a deal actually with that highway construction paid by Ethiopia. Unfortunately, Ethiopia at that time, they asked South Sudan to secure the border. This is last year, a year and a half, the secure border, Ethiopia and South Sudan border, Nasir, Jiko, all this area, Kobo, all these areas must be secured, because when you have companies are constructing, they want their people to be safe, right? That's what it is. They want to be safe. But South Sudan have ignored that, because these guys in Juba, they don't care. As long as the dollar is flowing, the dollar is coming, they don't care about anything. They don't care about the long term. They don't care about the short terms, economic that actually going to benefit the country for the long run. They don't care. So they ignored it. They ignored that. And they ignored that because the oil was flowing, from north to Port Sudan. But now things are not going well with Port Sudan. Things are not going well because Sudan lately, you remember, in January 25th, when they slaughtered our people, massacre in Al Jazeera, massacre, took place everywhere. They killed South Sudanese and then accused South Sudanese. Actually, they are supporting rapid forces, Damasarea. They kill our people. And the relationship between Port Sudan and Juba, it become sore, sort of. It's not like the way it used to be. So now South Sudan wanted to see more alternative. And now they start remembering, oh, you know what? Ethiopia talked to us about constructing roads, constructing a highway, from Gambela, Jiko, Ethiopia, Jiko, South Sudan, and, to Nasir, Malakal, and then another one to Pagak, Kobo, and all this area. So we can have a trade and import of oil. So why not activating that? And Ethiopia actually have talked to them about securing the area. So South Sudan actually start thinking about going to secure that area, but they haven't. Even after signing revitalized peace agreement in 2018, they did not even think about securing the area, taking the army there and making it. As I speak today, Akobo, Akobo authorities, they haven't been to Akobo. They haven't been to Akobo since atrocity of 2013. So now the government is start, thinking about, oh well, we want to go and secure the area. So Ethiopian, they can start working, constructing the road. So that's what it is behind. I know I've heard people were talking, there is a war and these people, they're coming for disarmament. No, 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 it's not about disarmament. It's about them trying to clear up the area. So the construction, Ethiopia, they have done their part on the Ethiopian side. So Ethiopian, they can come in and they can start, doing this construction. Actually, government should have been thinking about this long time ago. And again, people who live in this area are South Sudanese. People who live in Akoba are South Sudanese. In Nasir are South Sudanese. It would have been wise policy of the government not to ignore its own citizen. But the government that we have, they survive when people are suffering. So they did not care. They did not care that much, about those in Nasir, those in Akobo, those in, all these areas of Eastern Upper Nile or in Jonglei, far on the border. They did not care. They did not care all these years, as long as they are getting what they are getting. But right now, they are start thinking about going and clearing up and securing the area, because now the construction will kick in and then will take place. So this is what's happening. But it's good, though, if the government thought about it long time ago when they strike a deal, on Khartoum. It's good, though, if you make a consultation with the SPLM-IO, with the Ketguang, whatever armed group in the area. It would have been good, though, because you look for the short term and long term for your country. But the government that we have, they don't have that. They don't have that vision. They don't envision even something for 2 years. They don't envision. What they envision is to get the money from international market, money of the oil, and pocket them. That's what the only thing that they envision. But as I last time, I did an episode a couple months ago, and I said it would have been good actually for us to build highway with Ethiopian, and then have our own refinery so we can export, the oil, ready one, the gasoline to these countries. So we avoid the discriminatory fees that Sudan have imposed on us, just simply because we broke away, we are an independent nation. It would have helped the area, whether it's Nasir, whether it's Pagag, whether it's Okobo, all the entire Upper Nile. It would be booming, But it would have been wise policy from the government actually to prioritize peace, to prioritize security, to prioritize stability in the area. But they are not interested. I don't know how they're going to succeed. Now, you did not do what you're supposed to be do prior to construction or prior to companies to come in and construct the highway. You did not stabilize the region. You did not even talk to the local and make this place desirable to live. You just leave them there, let them be dumb there, white army, whatever, you call them. Let them be alone, killing, doing whatever they wanted to do. And now, when the way are closed down for you here, and then you have to start going there, it's going to be a tough one. So we have been hearing, the news, the last couple of days, that people are talking that the government actually is going there, it's going to fight, and it's going to do this. No, that's not what they want to do, actually. They want to go and secure the area for Ethiopian to come and construct the road. But I'm saying that is a good thing, but they should have done it long time ago with cooperation with those who are there, with the IO, with the Kitgwang, with the White Army, whoever, leading them. and selling the ideas that this is for your own interests, for developmental project for the area. Okay, and these people would have understand because the development is coming to their area. Again, like I said, you will be buying electricity from Ethiopia. Okay, thing will be on your side, but because there is no vision, these people are just, this government is going. So we don't know what is going to happen. That's a huge challenging, and that's why I put my topic today. Nasser crisis is a local, regional political dilemma. Ethiopia wanted to do something for economic growth for themselves, right? South Sudan now start waking up because the way are blocked for him, for them, and then they want to, deactivate that area of building the highway, and not only that, Sudan, because Sudan now, as I said from the beginning, is accusing South Sudan of involving in their own affairs of the war. Now they are start seeing that actually South Sudan is a part of the war that happening. They are the one that's supporting the rapid forces. I don't know how true is that, because you hear Yasser Alata last time when he said that 60% of the rapid support forces are from South Sudan. So Sudan is likely, they have been actually sponsoring the armed group along the border. They have been doing it for a very long time. Even before we gain independence, they have been doing that. Do you remember the friendly forces, Quwada Sadiq Omar Adaraka Mazalik, in 90s, even in 80s, they did that against the SPLM, SPLA, and they continue to do when we break away, which is it is really sad. And Sudan also did not make any good calculation, after we broke away. When South Sudan broke away, actually Sudan came up with a really discriminatory, policy against South Sudan. When they shut down the border, and they are thinking that South Sudan within 3 months, is going to collapse because South Sudan actually depend on us in everything. And they have forgotten actually by shutting down the border, South Sudanese are likely to be thinking about the other neighbor, which is Ethiopia, no, sorry, which is Uganda and Kenya. And that's what happened actually, which has impacted Sudan significantly. If they were wise, if they were having, a political, right ideology in place, they shouldn't even do that. And I recall very well when Ali Usman Mataha said that shoot to kill, which is anyone that taking good to South Sudan. It doesn't matter what they are taking. They are taking maize, they are taking weed, they are taking milk, they are taking vegetables, they are taking medicine. Just anyone that shoot any car crossing the border. They shut down the border. And it's something that they regret right now, because we are two countries now, but we share a common purpose because we eat the same food. We eat malokhia, we eat khudra, we eat all these things. We eat maize, we eat kisra. South Sudanese, they were not familiar with something called chapati. I know very well. Lately, I heard about chapati when I came to the United States. We did not know anything about chapati. South Sudanese, they know about asida, they know about khudra, they know about bamia, they know about all these things. Grasa. These are the things that shaya, kebab, these are the things that we eat. So we have a common thing together with Sudan. But Sudan have made a mistake that they will not recover for a very long time. I don't know why they did that. Just we want them to collapse. Why you want South Sudan to collapse? Because they conducted a very credible election in a referendum and they break away. It shouldn't be an issue. Okay? Now, and I keep saying this, Sudan is going to be the long term enemy to South Sudan. Because the way you see Sudanese, leaders are approached to South Sudan. They are so belittled, they are so bullying to the people of South Sudan. They're used to that. And I talked about it before. That they've been growing up on that, on that way, for a very long time. So now, as I talk about the crisis in Nasir, that actually South Sudan want to take the army and try to stabilize as a PDF region. And now there is more tension. You have Kirguang, you have the White Army, you have some SPLM-IO, and the peace agreement actually has not been implemented, and there is huge tension always. So it is going to be an uphill battle. Why? Ethiopia now cannot do anything. It's waiting for South Sudan to stabilize its own region, and then after that, they start construction. Now, again, as I said, Sudan is the long-term enemy of South Sudan, and now they are accusing South Sudan that actually they have backed up, they have backed up Damasarea rapid forces. Sudan is likely to sponsor any armed, group in the border. Sudan is likely to sponsor anyone. Sudan is likely to give guns to White Army. Sudan is likely to back up Kidguang. Of course, Kidguang wanted to fight because peace has been signed, nothing has been implemented. It's the same thing. So these are huge challenges. These are huge challenges. And that's why I said local and regional politics are involved in the crisis that's happening in Nasser right now. And that will embolden, because White Army will get support. Okay, Kitgwang will get support. Iowa will get support. And then the war will continue because we have a problem with the leadership that we have in Juba. And instead of solving the problem, for good and for all, they tend to maintain, to keep the division among the people of South Sudan. They will go halfway. They create war here. And then we say, oh, we want to do peace process, and then leave it. And then go another one. And then we'll peace process and leave it. So, because they survive when people are divided. But this is not good. This is actually what hurling the country back. This is what damaging the country. This is what widening the gap, of the people of South Sudan from uniting, this is what breaking up, the social fabric of the people of South Sudan. So it's going to be a real challenge. But it doesn't matter what advice you give to Juba regime. It doesn't matter what kind of talk you make. They don't tend to hear. They have a selective hearing. They hear what is good for them. They hear what praise them. They hear what say, well, yeah. They hear what say, oh, Ben, you are good, and whatever we good. But they don't hear from critiques, the one that tell them actually what is going to happen and what is right. Because we projected all these things, for a very long time. These things are going to happen. And now they are happening. And it shouldn't be that way. The crisis in Upper Nile would have been addressed long time ago in Equatoria, in everywhere in the country. All these crises should have been addressed if there is a political will in the country. But because they are not interested, and now you see, we are still going backward. We are getting worse and worse. Don't you think it would have been better, to address the crisis, the community violence, and to address the issues of IO, issues of Kitgwang? Don't you see that it would have been okay? Now that project would have gone through without any problem. But now how are you going to continue, allow Ethiopia to do this? Because if you move in now and you start using excessive forces, and then innocent civilian life would be taken. And that's not what we want to happen. We don't want to happen in the country. We want that stability. So I just want to give you that, heads up. These are the things that are happening right now. So the government want to go and stabilize and bring the troops so they can help those who are coming in. White Army, because they have been ignored for a very long time. Kitgwang, peace has not been implemented. And now they are rising, hey, we are here, man. So now you wanted to do this, we are here. We don't want you to come here, We haven't seen any development here. We haven't seen anything happening here. Now we have to fight. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Okay? So that is all about crises that are happening in Nasser. Just to give you an idea, that's what's happening. Okay? That is what's happening right now. They are not going there for disarmament. They are going to just secure that area. And if they have been challenged, and then I know they are going to fight. And if they are going to fight, we are going to lose innocent life. And that's something that we don't want to happen. So it would be wise ideas for them actually to address the chiefs, and the locals, and then find a common ground. So we don't have to slide on another war, because we are tired, and people of South Sudan are tired of war. I think it would be wise ideas to resolve the issue peacefully. Talk to them, and then you can actually get to a common ground. As I said, Sudan is going to supply them with the gun, because Sudan actually, it doesn't need any stability in South Sudan, since they're failing now. From the beginning, even before rapid support forces, rising up, Sudan actually don't want any stability in South Sudan. And I said this, and this will continue. And we have to be smart about that. We have to produce our own food. We have to have our own refinery. We don't have to export our oil through Sudan. We have to refine it. And that's the only way that Sudan is going to be nicer to us. And we have to have strong economy, strong army. These are the things that Sudan actually going to respect you. And we have to resolve our own local issues. So we don't have anyone here mad and they run to Sudan and saying, and Sudan will say, "Oh, come, come! They piss you up. I'm gonna give you a gun. Go and fight with your brothers." This is how you address all the issues. Uh, so that's what to do with crisis. Tumaini, again, we did talk about Tumaini, and we said that government was not interested, in any another agreement. They were looking for annex. They want to annex, this opposition to revitalize peace agreement that, which is they have not implemented. This is their ideas because they were looking to these leaders, Nas Malong, Nas General Pagan, to assimilate them. But actually, unfortunately, to them, they have been resisted because they felt like they were thinking maybe it would be easy. Maybe these guys are desperate enough to go to Juba and we just give them a couple of paychecks and then they will come to Juba and we appoint them in key position. And then they just dance with us, Mabok and Kumbaya, and it's gone. They were not thinking that thing will get harder to the point that they are in. When they changed the venue from Rome to Nairobi, they were trying to play, a local with Kenyan, with other regional actors. That way they can get away. And that's why they fired their own delegation. Salva Kiir fired his own delegation that actually appointed last time because this delegation, they were inclined and they agreed on 8 protocols. Okay, absolutely, they were in the same page with opposition. And now they seem like this is not what he was looking for. He fired them and he brought in a very radical, team. And that very radical team now, what happened? They said, we are going to Juba for any consultation. There is nothing called consultation. You can make a phone call, right? You have been given full mandate to go and negotiate on behalf of the government. Anything that happened, you can do. But actually, that's not what they were looking for, Now they gone for good. They gone for all and for good. They left Juba, and the government, again, when they were looking to strike a deal with, the holdout opposition, they were trying, to extend their term in the office. But since Riek Machar become smart enough and told them, why are you looking for this? We can extend it and then continue. Since they extended it, and then they start, ignoring the process of Tumaini in Nairobi. And that's what happened exactly. That's what happened exactly. So, my dear brothers and sisters, whether you are in opposition, whether you are inside, I know majority of opposition, they are inside the country. This is the deal. This government has no political will to bring stability in the country. They don't want to stabilize the country. They don't want insecurity. They don't want economic growth. They don't hear about, blah, 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 they are saying. They appoint this Mr. X tomorrow and they will fire Mr. Z and they will bring another one and they said that, we are looking for people to work. It's not about that. It's about just remaining in power until President Kiir dies. That's what it is. Okay. The question is, what are you going to do? All the tools have been used. Fight. IO fought this government. Wolin fought this government. Athor fought this government. Thomas is fighting this government. Yo is fighting this government. Fought this government. So armed struggle has been used for a very long time. Peace negotiations have been signed. A regional, they have involved. Even the church has involved. Even the Pope, the Holy Father, have kissed President Kiir hand and feet, and nothing resulted to solve our problem, which is mean that they are not interested in any stability whatsoever. President Kiir, and I made this clear last time, when I talk about the appointment of Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, and a lot of people, they were, attacking, saying that, why you say that? This is your son, he's from your region. And I said, it's not about my region. It's not about my clans. It's not about my town. It's not about my state. It's about the right process. Okay, Salva Kiir is the president of the Republic of South Sudan. We know he is. Okay, there is a ruling party of the SPLM, right, where he's coming from. Look, the same thing that happened in 2013, it repeated itself again. If you watch carefully, and if you monitor carefully, the same thing, what happened on the process that happened in 2013 has happened again. Do you recall when President Kiir refused the meeting of political bureau for many times? You remember? I just want you, give you a recollection about that. And then, because President Kiir didn't secure majority enough for people within political bureau to elect him to become the next chair of the SPLM party. That's why he boycotted, he refused it. I want to remind you what happened in 2013, it's happening again. It's happening again right now. It started to happen again. How? President Kiir refused political bureau process, and he went to funeral of Nelson Mandela. And then, before he come back, his colleagues, they have been calling for meeting. Pagana Mom, God, Nyandeng, all this, they have been calling, and they have been sidelined. And finally, they got frustrated. And what they did, they had a meeting on December 6th, 2013. They have that meeting. Okay. And meeting on the 6th. And then actually they agreed that on the 14th of December, they are going to go out and have a political rally. They are going to sell their agenda to the people of South Sudan. That actually President Kiir refused democratization of the SPLM party. We want to do a meeting so we can choose the next leader, because the election is coming 2 years. On 2015, supposed to have an election. I want you to know this. I want to remind you about this. Okay. So they had meeting on the 6th, and then they were waiting to go and do political rally. And Salva Kiir, when he came from South Africa, he knew that something happening. He knew that something happening, and he won't let it go. Now he refused meeting with these colleagues, and then colleagues now they are moving forward to do this. That's why he called that meeting urgently. He called Liberation Council, because on Liberation Council, he has some support. In political bureau, he did not have any support, right? So he called that, and they went there, and they started singing Song of War, okay, on that meeting. And then after the meeting, President Kiir went ahead and said, these guys, before they get out on the 14th, for the rally, he came and arrested them. And he said there was a military coup in the country, which is later, Lena Ying was a minister of interior, and Jong Riak was an MI that time, Mike Paul. Yeah, Mike Paul was MI in a military intelligence. They both refused. They said, no, there was no military, because MI will know if there is a military coup. And interior minister will know, if there is a coup in the country. But he put everybody in the jail and all this thing, and war break out in 2013. These are the same process right now. If you're really watching, if you're really monitoring, this is the one that happening now. You see how if the same thing happening, if President Kiir want a successor, or he wants some change, or he want to bring in new blood, or young, or Red Army, whatever you name it, young people to the power, he has authority, of course, to do that. But his authority rely on what? In his own political party. He can call a meeting, political bureau, liberation, whatever, and he said, guys, we have tried the SPLM hierarchy, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked for 19 years. We appoint somebody, we bring somebody, nothing has working. Of course, I know it hasn't worked because he's the problem. Now, if you want to do any process, he can come forward. And he said, you know what? I want to appoint this young man. I want to bring this candidate. That's called transparency. You can make a case because you are a leader of the country, right? You can make a case. You can talk to your old dog, talk to the old dogs in the SPLM, blah, 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 and all this. You can talk to them and make a case. They may agree with you, and I know they can agree with you if they can agree if you made an appeal good. And he said, I'm doing this in a good faith because I want the country to move forward. We have held our people back, things are gone wrong, and this is what I want to do. But no, he did not do that. He did the same, what he has done in 2013. And that's why I'm saying that the history is repeating itself again. He went to South Africa, he came back, and he didn't go political bureau, and he went ahead and had a meeting in Liberation Council and did what he did and arrest people. Now he did the same thing. He went ahead and appointed Bolmel, and then everybody's angry. Those of political bureau, those of senior SPLM party, they did not even attend, the celebration. They did not even comment. They did not even say anything. Kwalmanyang, Wenakot, Ugeru, Many people. There's a lot of anger. And that's why we said that, don't you see, it wasn't supposed to be wise if President Kir has done this. And people thought we were against Bolmel. No, we are not against Bolmel as a person, but we are against the process. That's what I said. Bolmel does not have any magic, magic stick of Moses. No, he has been there. He has been there, and managing director of President Kir assets. He hasn't been there, wrote Barkazal, wrote nowhere. He hasn't been there, the broker of the oil going to Dubai, between Dubai, making deals between Dubai, Juba, Addis, Juba, Nairobi, Juba, Johannesburg. He has been there. Juba, China. He has been there. Juba, Kuwait. He has been there for a long time. And we know the past of the man. And that's why I wrote an article 2 days ago. Bolmel, if he wanted to change things around, he could. But is it really, do we have reason to believe that he can do that? I doubt. But who knows? If he wants to do it, he can say, you know what? I have been serving master, but this is the time. If the master said that, oh, I trust you. You will be protecting me. You will be protecting my family. Okay, I'll protect you, Mr. President. I'll protect you. I'll protect your family. I'll protect your asset. But I have to do what people need at this moment. I have to stabilize the country, security-wise, economic. Okay. If you want to. These are some messages I put out there, 2 days ago when I wrote that, small article. So now the history repeating himself again. We are likely to slide to the war again. But is it worth it? Is it really worth it to go to war again? Is it really worth it for our people to die again? Is it worth it for people in Nasir, in Malakal, in all this area to die again because of one man show, because somebody decided doesn't want to bring, a political settlement in the country? So President Kiir can do this if he just make a presidential decree. Yeah, you know what? We want real. We mean it. We mean it. We want stability in the country. We want people to be stabilized. We need our country to move forward. And I don't want people of South Sudan to be fighting and dying, women dying, children dying, youth dying for nothing. Look at this youth, very strong youth that actually we could have been using. We could have been using for what? For something better. We could have been using for economic growth. We could have been using for production. But now they are wasted, war, killing themselves, back and forth, and all this. It need to be reversed. It need to be reversed. I know. President Kiir is adamant about putting this country in danger. He is adamant about continuing, the war to continue as long as they are okay in power. And that's why we are asking people in our generation, younger generation, is it worth it? Is it that's what you want? زي ما قال أستاذنا الله يرحمه فيلم كويس قال يا أخي الجماعة دي باقي لهم خريفين فكيف إن إحنا دائما بس بنستمع لهم وكلامهم ده بضر فينا. Is that what you want for your children? That what you want? No, that's not what we want. Okay, if that's not what we want, why can we get together and say, no, ya Jama, rise up and say no. No war in Nasir, no war in any part of the country. It is a time to have that political settlement. We know President Kiir has no good faith to the people of South Sudan. Has no good faith. There's no political will. I'm sincerely, I don't care what people say about me. I will be continuing. I have to be consistent in saying the right thing. People like it, don't like it, that's fine. I rather tell the truth and remain with a small group than telling lies and being with a stupid crowd. How about that? No, I don't want to be with idiots crowd or the stupid crowd telling lies. I rather be with 3 or 4 people telling the truth, because the truth will set us free. That's what it is. So, question upon us, people of South Sudan. You see the direction where the country is going. Sudan is going to sponsor armed group in Eastern Upper Nile because they have already seen that our government has supported the rapid support forces. So, so since they feel that way, now what they are going to do, they are going to support this. They are going to support those who are against South Sudan. They are going to support war in South Sudan. Okay, so there will be no double mental project, and that's why I'm saying that it's not worth it for our people to continue, to die, youth to continue to suffer. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. And I am asking this question for you, so you can raise up your voice. You can raise up your voice. I remember very well when our people were killed in Al Jazeera. The anger that is sparked, the people in Juba, in Awil, in Wow, it was great. Why don't you use that energy actually, to ask this government, said, you know what, enough is enough, we are dying. Go out the street and protest. That will result in something good. Yeah, they will feel shake. They felt shaken last time. But if you do this now, they will feel shaken. And if they are shaking, that will be the beginning of the solution of our crisis. So, my dear brothers, that's the message that I am intend to give you today. With that, actually, I thank you so much for watching here on Facebook and YouTube. Please, again, I wanted to remind you, those who are watching here on Facebook, those who are watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe our channel on YouTube so you can get all the new videos always. With this, I would like to transition to Clubhouse. So people who wanted to add their perspective, they are highly welcome to add their perspective from there. Thank you for now here on Facebook.
Well